Imagine this. You're driving through Brazil, just, cruising along, and boom, you spot something ancient, something huge. That something could easily have been a bone from Brasilotitan pneumophagus. Today, we're doing a deep dive into this really interesting titanosaur from the late Cretaceous, discovered right there in Brazil.
Yeah, it's a great topic. We've got some solid scientific papers, the original descriptions mostly, that help us piece together its story. And our mission today really is to figure out what makes Brasilotitan stand out. What does it tell us about dinosaur life back then? And, well, why should you find it as fascinating as we do?
Okay, sounds good. So, the discovery story. How did we even find out about this dinosaur?
Well, it starts back in 2000. This guy, William R. Nava, he was actually exploring near Presidente Prudente City in São Paulo State.
Yeah.
And he literally found these fossils along a road.
Just along a road. Wow, that's incredible luck.
It really is. But it wasn't until 2013 that it was officially described. That was by Elaine B. Machado and her colleagues. They're the ones who gave it the name. Brasilotitan pneumophagus.
Brasilotitan? Okay, I get the Brasilo part for Brazil. And Titan, like the giant.
Exactly. Brazil giant. It nods to the location, obviously, and the Titans from Greek mythology, these powerful beings. Pretty fitting for a sauropod, even a smaller one.
Right. And the second part, pneumophagus, that sounds a bit more technical.
It does, yeah. It comes from Greek. You've got nemos, which means something like pasture or wood, and then phagos, meaning to eat. So put them together. Pneumophagus basically tells you it was a plant eater, a pasture eater, or wood eater.
Ah, okay. A plant-eating Brazil giant. Makes sense. Now, classification. Where does this fit in the grand scheme of things, the big tree of life?
Right, the taxonomy, it's like zooming in, we start broad. Eukaryota, then Animalia chordata, then we hit Dinosauria.
The main event. Yep.
Then within dinosaurs, it's Sauristia, the lizard-hipped ones.
Yeah.
Then Sauropodomorpha, and then Sauropoda, your classic long necks.
Okay, still pretty broad categories there.
Getting closer. Within Sauropoda, it's in Macronaria. They tend to have big nasal openings. And then, crucially, Titanosauria. That's a huge, really diverse group of sauropods from the Cretaceous.
Titanosauria, that's the key group then.
Definitely. And to get even more specific, it's placed within Lithostrotia, which is a major subgroup within the Titanosaurs. So yeah, firmly a titanosaur and part of this widespread Lithostrotia group.
Got it. Titanosauria, Lithostrotia. So what did they actually find? What specific bones make up Brasilotitan?
The main find is what we call the holotype. It's cataloged as MPM125R. It's not a complete skeleton, but it gives us a lot. There's a right dentary that's part of the lower jaw,
Oh.
2 partial neck vertebrae, so cervicals, a piece of the sacrum, the fused hip vertebrae, plus 2 bits of the pelvis, the ilium and ischium, and an ungual phalanx.
An ungual phalanx. What's that?
Basically a claw bone, the bone at the very tip of a toe.
Ah, okay. So jaw, neck, hips, claw. A decent spread. Is that the type specimen then? Holotype?
Exactly. It's the reference point.
Yeah.
Any other fossils we think might be Brasilotitan get compared back to MPM125R?
And wasn't there a tooth found nearby too?
Yes, good point. MPM126R. Just a fragment, but found close by. Probably belonged to the same animal, or at least the same species.
And the location, you said São Paulo State. What rocks were these found in?
They come from the Adamantina Formation. That's late Cretaceous rock. Though there was a suggestion back in 2017 by Broussard and some others that maybe some fossils assigned there could actually be from the Presidente Prudente Formation. So, geology's always got its little complexity.
Layers upon layers, literally. Okay, and I heard something about scavenging. Like, it didn't have a peaceful end.
Yeah, the evidence points that way. There are actual puncture marks on some of the bones.
Ooh.
And they also found teeth from theropods, meat-eating dinosaurs right there with the Brasilotitan skeleton.
Theropod teeth, wow.
Yeah, so it really suggests that after this Brasilotitan died, some predators or scavengers came along and had a meal. Gives you a snapshot of the ecosystem.
Definitely paints a picture. Okay, so we know where it lived, what bones we have, even a bit about its death. What about the living animal? How big was this Brazil giant, really?
Well, that's the interesting thing. Despite the Titan name, it seems Brasilotitan was actually relatively small for a titanosaur. The estimates put it at probably less than 12 meters long, maybe around 39 feet.
Less than 12 meters. Okay, I mean, that's still big, like a bus.
Oh, for sure. Big by our standards. But compared to some titanosaurs like Argentinosaurus or Patagotitan, which were pushing, 30, 40 meters.
Right, those were truly enormous.
Exactly. So Brasilotitan shows there was quite a size range even within this group.
So maybe not a giant, but still impressive. Did it have any, really distinctive features besides its size?
It did. One key thing is the lower jaw, the mandible. Like some other titanosaurs, it had this kind of L shape. This means it probably had a pretty broad, sort of squared-off snout.
A square snout. Huh. Interesting look for a herbivore.
Yeah. And even more specific, there's a unique twist right at the front of the dentary, in the symphyseal region where the two jaw halves meet. That particular twist hadn't really been seen in other titanosaurs before. It's quite distinct.
A twisted jaw. Okay. Anything else stand out?
The neck vertebrae, the cervicals we have,
Right.
their neural spines, those are the bony bits sticking upwards, seem relatively low or short compared to some others.
Got it. So, smaller size, square jaw with a twist, low neck spines. That's starting to build a unique profile. How does it relate to other titanosaurs then? Who are its closest evolutionary relatives?
That's still being figured out, to be honest.
Yeah.
Phylogenetics, tracing the family tree, can be tricky with incomplete fossils. But based on that lower jaw morphology, especially the shape,
Yeah.
it seems to show similarities to Antarctosaurus and Bonitosaura.
Other South American titanosaurs.
Exactly. Which suggests, connections within the continent. Finding these unique features, like the jaw twist, helps scientists group it with others that might share derived traits.
So it wasn't alone. It had relatives roaming around South America, too.
Precisely. Its discovery really added to the known diversity of titanosaurs just within Brazil during the late Cretaceous. And like we said, getting good jaw material is relatively rare, so it provided really valuable information about titanosaur anatomy in that area.
And I think I read it might be particularly close to another Brazilian titanosaur.
Yes, exactly. Some phylogenetic studies, those analyses trying to map out relationships, have suggested it could be the sister taxon to Brasilotitan.
Sister taxon, meaning its closest known relative.
That's the idea, yeah. Brasilotitan is another titanosaur found in Brazil. So finding them potentially as closest relatives hints at maybe a specific lineage evolving right there in that part of South America.
Interesting, a sort of Brazilian branch of the titanosaur family. And what's this clade A I've seen mentioned?
Oh, yes, clade. That's a grouping that was proposed, I think, by Philippi and colleagues. It basically groups together titanosaurs that share that squared-off jaw feature we talked about.
Yeah.
And Brasilotitan, with its squarish jaw, fits into that clade. So it reinforces the idea that these jaw shapes are evolutionarily significant and link certain titanosaurs together.
Right. So putting it all together then, Brasilotitan. It's this relatively small titanosaur found roadside in Brazil. Distinctive square jaw, that unique twist, possibly very closely related to Brasilotitan and part of this clade A of square-jawed titanosaurs.
That sums it up pretty well. A unique piece in the South American dinosaur puzzle. And its discovery is really significant because it expands our view of dinosaur diversity in Brazil right before the end of the Cretaceous period, just before the big extinction event.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? If something this unique was found along a road, what else is still out there? What other secrets are locked up in those Brazilian rocks just waiting to change how we see prehistoric life? And maybe even, microscopic stuff found with bones, pollen, tiny fossils. What could they tell us about its world?
Absolutely. That's the thrill of paleontology, isn't it? Every find potentially rewrites a little bit of the story. Brasilotitan is a perfect reminder. There's still so much to uncover about Earth's incredible past.